this is very like pedestrian or like simple, but I actually think a lot about my 3-year-old daughter and like the way she approaches the world. Um, One of the things everybody says about 3-year-olds is like they always ask why. And I actually think like that ability to ask why and actually to really listen, like sometimes she'll ask me why and I'll give her a kind of dismissive answer and she knows I've given her a dismissive answer. And so she's like, no, like tell me actually why. And it's that orientation of like digging to really understand like why does something happen in the world? And she'll keep asking and she wants to like pick it all apart to really understand it. Um, and that ability, and that actually comes in part from like her ignorance, which is that's why she's asking because she knows nothing and she has no assumptions. I wish like I had that level of like needing to know, like I wish that need was so deep in me to know why, and that I was so good at like digging and digging and digging because I feel like that's like the most important skill as a PM, to just be like, why is this happening? Like, why is this a problem? Like get to like the kernel of truth. And she has that freshness and that openness. I really appreciate that about her. I wish I could have that. I'm like, I need that for my job. The other part also is that she's very, because she doesn't, I realized if you have a toddler, you're always in these like, toddlers throw tantrums and that's really hard. And she's like very forceful and she's like, no, I want to do this and I want to do it now. And I still get really frustrated by it, but I also realized like, no, like she is this way because it hasn't been like worn out of her. Like this is her, this is how she feels. She's going to tell you. And I feel like over time, we're all engineered to kind of like, it's just so hard that you just like don't want to bother anymore to push back or to state your opinion or really to like speak your truth. And again, that's the other part that I think is important as a PM. It's like to dig to the truth. It's both. It's like you are so open and you're digging to the truth. And then once you find it, like you just state it unabashedly. And over time, as you get older and you get more sort of jaded, that's all worn out of you. And that's, I think, like the biggest problems that happen in organizations. Like organizations fail because people are not brave enough to like identify problems. And sometimes that bravery is also, you're just tired. Like I had a conversation with one of the PMs on my team where he said like, at some point I'm just like so tired. I don't know if fixing that thing is like worth my effort. And I'm like, oh God, that's when I know we have a problem. Like it should not be so hard for you to be like that. We need to fix this. And she doesn't have that. Like it hasn't been worn out of her, you know? She also has gold glitter shoes, which I pointed out is like awesome. That's one person. And then because I'm generally like thinking a lot about increasingly like how do you like unbias your search for the truth, which is almost impossible. And this can be political. I think Bob Mueller is like, I would want to be in Bob Mueller's shoes. Because and I wouldn't want to be in Bob Mueller's shoes, but I feel like Bob Mueller is actually ultimate product manager. He's like trying to get to the truth of like what actually happened here, without, and he's like caught between all of these political factions. I think every day I think like, God, my job is so political. I should remember Bob Mueller and be like, no, I don't have a political job at all. I can sweat this out. And I just think like, what is it like for that man? I would love to walk in his shoes and then I would not. Like, how does he stay focused on the task at hand? How does he get it done as quickly as possible? How does he get to the truth? And that's the thing that's so interesting about his job is like, he has to get to the truth as quickly as possible. Think about like how he's not destroying like all of our democratic institutions. And like, he has such a dangerous job. He's under such a tremendous amount of pressure, like from all of these factions. And how does he also do it in a way where like he has to maintain credibility with like the American public? Like what Bob Mueller tries to do is like a very extreme version of like what you're trying to do as a PM, like nowhere near. But I'm like, if I could walk in Bob Mueller's shoes where he has to do this every day at such an extreme level, I would come back to my job and be like, this is nothing. Because the other thing, I think one of your posts was really interesting, Jeremy. You talked about stress and like how being a PM can be a very stressful job. And one of the things that I have struggled with is like how you manage that level of stress. Um, and so I think like, oh, if I could experience Bob Mueller's levels of stress, it would just give me a lot more perspective on how it doesn't matter. Like, so yeah, they're both Maya, my 3-year-old, and Bob Mueller are doing facets of the things that I think you need to do, which is like ask why, ask it truthfully, ask it hard, present it, despite all the pressure on you to like not do those things.